I'm grateful for everything our parents have taught us, but I think a lot of black kids are Pentecostals for the same reason we were Labour supporters. First time I went to the front of the church, I was more swayed by the music than the word. I probably wasn't saved the day that I thought I was. But when the keys play softly while the preacher says vague stuff to things we all relate to once, it can sway you to make your way to the front. Before I explain my side, I wonder, are you still preaching tithes to keep the members tied? Are the attentive still pretending to be prophetic? Are you still giving God the praise for all the positives but saying man's heart is desperately wicked for all the other things? Are you still getting free work by telling members they're serving? Sorry for all the questioning. Just a couple things I thought I'd check off before I start checking in. Questioning if I can be accepted with all these questions and surrounded by pastors with nothing to offer but money and pleasures, just forehead pressers and fortune tellers. Congregations who fall just to prove they got the message, with a pastor who calls it answering back when he can't answer all your questions. I'll be honest, God, I can't do the whole we won't know because we're humans to every difficult question. I prefer lessons over blessings, scary, because that probably sounds like Job's life over Esther's. I wasn't raised in the church, nor do I have a cliche story about doing dirt then being saved by the word. Getting saved young doesn't stop you from getting preyed on. Is your pastor's perception bigger than a member's protection? Because when it's time to out a pastor, you say it's between God and them and you don't say a word. But when it's time to shame a member, suddenly their business is between you, them and the church. I nearly lost my life a couple times. This life's crazy. I was stabbed by a rusty blade, the infection in the wound beefing about who's gonna take me. Apparently God saved me because my life has meaning if that's how we see it. Why hasn't God saved innocent babies? Are we saying they ain't serving what he's needing? This is either his choice or not, we can't split it. Because when you mention the tragedies in the world, they say it's because man sinned and our hearts are desperately wicked. God would have never did this. Mention nearly dying but living or getting in a job you applied in, and suddenly God is in control of everything we reside in. Recently I've been questioning if Pentecostal churches are worth it. They'll probably cancel me before they hear this, but I'll still share it. First time I went to a Pentecostal church, I questioned how they all seem to start from the end. A lot tend to start with the beliefs and then research it to justify it and spread. How do you get saved and believe the Trinity tithes and soul tithes the same night? I'm not debating if they're right. But nowhere else do you start with a conclusion and figure out how you got it. Like you don't learn 8 + 8 is 16 before you learn how to add. Having a Bible is useless if you don't come to your own conclusions. Sometimes I wish you taught me God can more than you taught me God will. I even think there's a difference between what God wants and God's will, but that's just what I feel. Scary when you go from the roads to the church. The youth pastor excels you without the work, and the women see you as the perfect cross between what they should go for and what they prefer. Promises of Bible studies just so they can hide behind Christ where they try to slip and slide with me. I struggle to understand the point in keeping the faith. If the people leading the place claim him, but secretly try to live all the things they say I need to escape. There's not enough teachers, but a lot of preachers. Preachers can give you a word that will encourage you or even break you down. Teachers are those who take the word and help you break it down. Is God here to save our souls and save our situations? If that's the case, then if things sway from greatness, I have enough reason to sway from him. Does God heal? If so, why does he protect some and let others be killed? Does God provide? If so, what about the 260 million over 10 countries that risk their life for the Christ? It's easy to paint Christ as a genie that grants wishes. When you're in the Western world where the gospel's only risk is you might look stupid in front of your brethren, scared of pastors that preach the presence of God means the absence of pain. If that's the case, that means I can leave if things ain't okay. The music either feels like a parody or the church playing catch up. When's the last time Christian music set the standard? Why would I listen to songs inspired by the songs I already like? Ironic how it's relationship, not religion, believers that preach tithes. The corrupt churches wounded me, but the silent ones killed me. Scared of cultures that twist scriptures to push agendas. I hope you can understand where my thoughts lie. The door's open if you ever want to reply. Why I left church? True.
But the one that looks the worst is the one that needs to listen. Time's getting thinner, I'll keep asking till the light's getting dimmer. But soon I'll lose interest in him cause you lost interest in me. Yours sincerely, Mind of a Sinner. Let's